Okay, so what are we doing today? We're going to turn this entertainment center into this entertainment center. With a little bit of magic, some LED lights, and some Amazon fun. Okay, so this is the star of the show. These LED lights here. This and the controller and the power supply came in one kit. This is from a previous kit. The main star is this little guy right here, which allows you to control the lights, color, flashing patterns, etc., all from your phone via Wi-Fi, which is super cool. Let it be known, I am not an electrician. I do not recommend you do things that I do, unless of course you wanna. Now, do not start this project if you do not know how to solder. If you do not know what flux is, you're going to hate your life. Now, because every section of this LED rope light has a spot where you can cut it and solder to the strip itself. Let's see if I can get the camera to focus on that. You can see those contact points right where you cut it. You scrape the stuff off and solder it on there. Now, I do have a plan to make my life a little bit easier, as I need 4-strand wire for the parts in between where the strip lights are going to be. And I have a feeling I can use RC wire. Now, as you can see, we've got the RC ends on there, which allows me to use a connector for a breakaway point, should I need to move the cabinet, clean behind it, wire up more speakers, something like that. And then the other end will be soldered to the rope light, and that should work pretty good. So we use the super scientific method of laying it up here and cutting it with a good old pair of scissors. And we need to strip this kind of silicone type material off of here. Yeah, maybe I should have got a board or something a little harder to do this on. Oh, oops. I cut that one so good I actually cut the contact. I don't know if you can see that. I cut the contact right off of the positive 12-volt line. Let's see if that can be salvaged or not. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but I was able to trim back further some of the white surface and show that contact again, so I should be able to make this work. Cut a little piece of this. Slide it over our end first, because otherwise we will regret it. Alrighty. So I have one end already stripped back a little bit. I'll do the same to the other end. And then we will wire it up. Just make sure to keep the wires straight as to where they go from one piece to the next, because it does matter, otherwise your colors and your power will be all screwed up, and that would be bad. First, or the next thing we want to do is to flux the heck out of everything. Stop with the auto-focusing. There you go. You know what? I wonder if I lay that there, if it'll just stay focused. So, flux the crap out of that. Flux the daylights out of this. To do the same thing to this wire right here. And this is a shielded style wire. So you have the wire on the outside, which is what I've got right here. Then we have the center core as well. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is just braze the wires a little bit. There we go. I just want to lay a little bit of solder on the wires. Just a little bit here. You end up with wires, I don't know if you can see that look just like that. Very, very chill. Let's see if I can add just a dot of solder to these points. So now I've got little bitty balls of solder on here. Here's our wire. Let's solder this bad boy. Might be a little hard to see. Not the world's best solder job, but not the worst either. Okay, now I want to test these connections and make sure I don't have anything shorting across here, because we could damage our controller if I did, which would not be good. All I want to test is that none of these are touching each other and that I just can't see it. So we're going to put this one here on the top mount. Test each one. Nada. 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 When you touch them together, you get something. Perfect. That's exactly what I needed to know. So now this is really just a matter of rinse and repeat for however many times you need to make connections. So for me, it's each shelf on my entertainment center. One more part I forgot to mention a moment ago was, since we have the heat shrink on here, we slide it down over our connection, and we use our fire to shrink it down a little. Okay, now that I've got basically what looks like spaghetti here, as you can see, I do have some wired in with RC couplers. Also, for the most part, I forewent the heat shrink, because as it shrunk down, it was actually causing the wires to contact each other, which was creating shorts, so that was no good. So what I instead went with, for the most part, was liquid electric tape. And where I did use heat shrink, I only shrunk it on the side that was connected to the actual LED strip, and not where the wires were, and still have liquid electric tape in there, and just use this kind of as a shield. So now I have to get the spaghetti into the cabinet. I am not going to be using the adhesive backing anywhere except for on the back of the television, and that's where I have the breakaways, so that if I have to move things, this will come apart so that that part's not an issue. Okay, as you can see, it did work pretty well. I had some issues, mostly due to my crummy soldering, and things like that. But overall, not too bad. What's really cool, you can control the whole thing from your phone. So you can change it to whatever color you want, or I can even have it set to activate off the microphone and change colors and beat to the music, etc. like that, which is kind of trippy, but super cool. Also, a really cool function is I can take a picture of a color and it will actually turn the lights that color. There's also an alarm and a few other things I haven't tried yet, but overall I am pretty happy with the results at the moment. Also, there's a function to give it a white light where you can choose the white balance color. So you can have it super blue or super kind of orangey, which I thought would be pretty cool for trying to get the melatonin flow for getting ready for bed. So that could be super cool too. Again, I am not an electrician. I don't recommend that you do anything the way I do it unless you know what you're doing or are willing to just deal with whatever happens. Alright, well, I'm pretty happy with this project, and hopefully if you try it out, it'll work out pretty cool for you too.